I quit porn and it changed my life forever. This isn't going to be some guide or some easy fix. I'm just sharing exactly what worked for me and the mind shifts I went through. This was me 3 years ago in high school. Porn was my escape from my shitty school life because I was fat. I barely had any friends. I couldn't talk to girls without stuttering my words. And to make things even worse, I also got addicted to hentai. And I would do it 2 to 3 times a day. It's embarrassing to think about and to tell people about now, but in high school, I genuinely hated myself. I hated myself and everything that I was. And this went on for 3 years throughout high school. And then one day, I stumbled across NoFap and the self-improvement community. To be more specific, there was this YouTuber called Hamza, or Hamza, which you've probably seen his videos before if you're in the self-improvement niche. And it was good for me. I slowly started to transform my life. I started hitting the gym. I started making new friends. I started boosting my confidence, and I actually started making YouTube videos, which if I can find one of my old videos, I'll put it on screen that day. And I don't know where it came from, but I just had this sudden urge that I wanted to create content. Posted my first face cam video like years ago because of this self-improvement stuff. And then near the final year of high school, I came across like Andrew Tate's whole community thing since he started blowing up around then, and I joined the real world, which was also good for me. I started building a brand on Twitter, and I actually got really close to making money from that business because I was hopping on sales calls. I had a pretty busy schedule. And then, as you may know, I joined the military after that, and now I'm here. But that's all another story, which I'll tell you another day. And I'm not gonna lie to you and act like those urges just magically disappeared, because throughout that whole self-improvement arc that I was going through, up until when I joined the military, I still didn't fully quit porn. However, it did reduce considerably because you know how I said I was doing it 2-3 times a day before? The more I started focusing on myself, I started working out, I started, building brand on social media, like the number of times just started steadily decreasing. It got to a point where it'd be consistently 2-3 times a week because I'd go a couple of days without it. And then there'd be these occasional one-off weeks where I'd go for like 1-2 weeks without doing it at all, and those were some of my best weeks because I had so much mental clarity and I was so much more focused during those weeks. And then I remember a couple times I'd go for a whole month, and then when I joined the military, I set I think it was a new record of almost 2 months in a row, obviously because it was a new environment. It made it easy to avoid like fat. But in the end, the urges always came back. And then when I got home from the military, my boot camp, and all those urges came back, and I also used them as an escape because when I came back from the military, I was doing nothing with my life. I didn't have diet. I was barely working out, and it made it easy for those urges to show up again. But that's not what this video is about, because as I am right now, I've been away from porn for 2 months. I've been off porn, and I just want to share with you some advice that I think could really help some of you. And I'm going to give you some advice now that you're probably not going to want to hear, but it's the same advice my mentor gave to me, which helped me quit. Stop trying to quit. I'm being serious. Just stop trying to quit. Stop with all this NoFap stuff and just let it be. Because I found the more I try and quit an addiction, the more you put it in your head, and the more you think about it, the stronger those urges become. So the more you try to not quit, it's like it's fueling that urge, which makes it harder to stay away. Because deep down your mind is craving that dopamine. So it's like you're fighting against yourself. So the first thing is resisting the urges only makes it stronger. The advice that most people give you is to busy yourself, focus on other things. Could be the gym, could be building anything, just going outside, which is good advice. Build up yourself. The more you focus on improving yourself, the less you're going to think about those urges. But that alone was never enough for me. What I think you really need to do is to change your identity. Change how you see yourself. Identify yourself as a person that doesn't watch porn. Identify yourself as that person who doesn't do that anymore. And just that small shift in a mindset can be the difference between you giving into the urges or like Okay, yeah, so my camera kind of died midway through, but I'm pretty sure I was just finishing talking about how you should change your self-identity if you want to actually quit porn. And so I'm just going to leave you with one strategy which I now use for all addictions, and it works really well. So next time you get the urge to do anything really, whether it's watch porn, eat junk food, play video games, don't resist the urge. Or you can resist, but if you have to actually go through with it and do the urge, what I want you to do is to like really absorb those emotions that you're feeling while you do the thing. Like if it's eating junk food, I want you to sit there and eat it and think about how you feel as you eat it. Don't just like go numb to everything. I want you to sit there, if you're watching porn, sit there and watch porn and think about how you genuinely feel while it's happening. Be like, am I really doing this? And the chances are it's not going to feel good, and that's okay. And then afterwards, usually when you get that like dip point, when you get that dopamine, do something you don't want to do, you'll feel a dip afterwards. But what I want you to do is to feel bad about the thing you're doing during it. I want you to feel bad about it while you do the thing, and then afterwards I want you to write down all those emotions in a journal. If I run into an urge, I'll write it down in my journal and just write down every emotion that you feel. And every single time you do that urge, keep adding onto that page, keep adding onto that journal. Like you'll associate all the bad emotions that you felt with that addiction, and that makes it 100 times easier to quit because you already know the outcome. You already know what this is going to do to you. And yeah, that'll just make you want to quit because it's like a trick for your brain, and it'll make you want to actually quit the addiction. And yeah, I'm not saying this is the only way to quit. You can easily quit through like sheer willpower, but it's why work harder? Like when you could just make smart choices, set up systems to make it easier to quit. So yeah, that's just what worked for me. It might be different for you, but I hope that this video taught you something or you learned something, whether you're trying to quit addictions, quit porn, or some other addiction. And I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of this month, so I'd appreciate any support on this video. And yeah, until next time.